Imagine this. You are standing in the Egyptian desert. The air is so hot it feels like fire in your lungs. No trees. No cover. Just open sand stretching into infinity. And suddenly, the ground begins to shake. At first it's distant. Then louder. Then unbearable. Because coming toward you is the most feared cavalry force in the Middle East. Thousands of mounted warriors. Armor shining in the sun. Swords raised. Pistols ready. Charging like a living tsunami of steel. And in front of them is Napoleon Bonaparte. Outnumbered. Far from home. In a land he barely understands. And yet, he doesn't retreat. He doesn't panic. He gives an order that would completely rewrite battlefield history. But the real question is, how do you stop a cavalry that has dominated wars for centuries? The invasion. In 1798, Napoleon launched one of the most ambitious military campaigns in history. Egypt. Officially, the goal was to weaken British trade routes to India. But for Napoleon, this was also personal. A chance to build an empire of legend. He arrived with around 40,000 soldiers. But almost immediately, reality hit harder than expected. The desert was merciless. Water was scarce. Heat was deadly. And disease was constant. But the real danger wasn't the environment. It was the Mamluks. For centuries, the Mamluks ruled Egypt through military dominance. They were not just warriors. They were an entire warrior class. Trained from childhood. Raised on horseback. And feared across the Middle East. Their cavalry was their identity. Fast. Deadly. Unpredictable. And now, they were preparing to crush Napoleon's invasion. But Napoleon noticed something most commanders missed. He didn't just see strength. He looked for patterns. And he found something dangerous. A hidden weakness. The approach to Cairo. July 1798. Napoleon's army marches deeper into Egypt. The closer they get to Cairo, the more tension builds. Local scouts report massive Mamluk formations gathering ahead. The battlefield is chosen near the pyramids of Giza, a place already ancient when history began. And now, about to witness a new kind of war. The Mamluks prepare their classic strategy. No complex formations. No artillery coordination. Just pure cavalry power. The plan is simple. Charge fast. Break the line. Destroy morale. Finish the battle in minutes. And it has worked for generations. But this time, something is different. Napoleon is not forming traditional lines. He is building something strange. Something the Mamluks have never seen before. The French formation. The French army stops. Commands spread instantly. And then it happens. Infantry begins forming into squares. Perfect geometric formations. Not defensive lines, but living fortresses. Each square has infantry on all four sides. Bayonets pointing outward. Cannons placed inside gaps. Officers and supplies protected in the center. From above, it looks unnatural. Like chess pieces come alive. Each square can rotate fire in every direction. No blind spot. No weak point. And most importantly, no fear. Because Napoleon understands something critical. Cavalry needs collapse. But squares don't collapse easily. They resist. They absorb. They survive. And now, the trap is set. The charge. And then, the Mamluks appear. First as dust on the horizon. Then shapes. Then full cavalry lines. Then chaos in motion. And finally, the charge begins. The ground shakes violently. The sound is overwhelming. Horses thunder across the desert like a storm. The Mamluks believe victory is seconds away. They aim straight for the French center. But Napoleon gives no signal. The French wait. Closer. 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 Then, fire. A wall of muskets erupts. Entire rows of cavalry disappear in smoke and dust. But the Mamluks don't stop. They keep charging, wave after wave, because they believe speed will break anything. But they are about to discover something new. Speed means nothing against structure. The breakdown. Some riders reach the squares, close enough to see the faces of French soldiers. They fire pistols. They swing swords. They scream. But the formation does not break. Every gap is instantly covered. Every attack met with steel. Inside the squares, everything is controlled. Outside, everything is chaos. This is not a battle anymore. It is a system versus a storm. And slowly, the storm begins to lose power. The Mamluk momentum starts collapsing. Horses fall. Lines break. Confusion spreads. For the first time, they are not controlling the battlefield. Collapse of a legend. The battlefield becomes unrecognizable. Dust covers everything. Gunfire echoes across the desert. The Mamluks attempt desperate solo attacks. Some try to regroup. Others retreat toward the Nile. But it is too late. The French squares advance methodically, step by step, holding formation, never breaking. The legendary cavalry of Egypt is being dismantled in real time, not by a stronger army, but by a smarter system. By the end of the battle, thousands lie dead, others scattered. The Mamluk dominance in Egypt is effectively broken, and Napoleon wins a decisive victory near the pyramids. The real lesson? The Battle of the Pyramids becomes legendary, not because of scale, but because of transformation. It shows something brutal but important. Reputation does not win battles. Tradition does not stop innovation. And courage alone cannot defeat structure. Napoleon didn't destroy the Mamluks with superior strength. He destroyed them with organization, with discipline, with geometry turned into weaponry. But here's the twist history never hides. This victory did not secure Napoleon's ultimate success. His Egyptian campaign would slowly collapse in the years that followed. Not on the battlefield, but through logistics, politics, and supply failure. And that raises a final question. Was Napoleon truly unstoppable? Or was this just one perfect moment in an imperfect campaign?